Okay, me and the Bane play Borderlands 2, Take 2, no longer episodes 19 to 20, we're just doing episodes 19. I don't know if I'll keep the previous stream or not around. We actually got about 10 minutes into it, but, hey. It's 2. But unfortunately, the only way that I have to right now in order to do this is to have the gameplay playing through Premiere, because for whatever reason VLC does not play well when OBS is running, which could very well be just some program thing, but having tried some stuff before, I think it may very well be oh hey, if you're playing a movie, I'm not going to record that because recording that is a violation of, like, you may be trying to record a DVD or something like that, you know? Yeah, there's some weird, OBS has some weird stuff in there. So it doesn't play very well, and Windows Media Player for some reason doesn't play the audio on the game. I think it might have to do with the maybe, no, because it was, no, the audio is only one track, so I don't know. Windows Media will play the video, but it will not play the audio. So my only recourse is to put it on the timeline and play it through that, which is tacky, and it worked well for Mario RPG, but it got about 10 minutes in, and then it just kind of locked up, started stuttering, and the gameplay is fine. The gameplay is perfect, and my playing of the gameplay is flawless and perfect as well. But yeah, it started stuttering and having all kinds of issues, so we had to restart the stream, and hopefully we can get through the game. And the bummer is, I had exactly like 2 hours and 50 minutes when I first started between when I was starting the video and the next stream, which is Elder Scrolls Legends. And these two episodes together are 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I thought, okay, I can do episodes 19 and 20, have 5 minutes to switch over and go into Legends. But with this whole kerfuffle now, I'm going to be about 10 minutes shy of that, so I can only do episode 19. I'll have to change the thumbnail and the description. It's going to be a whole mess. This whole thing is a big kerfuffle, all because, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. If it works, because I reset the computer. I restarted the computer. Reset the computer. Goodness gracious. I restarted the computer. Well, shut it down for like 2 minutes and then restarted it. If that solved the problem, then it was my fault. Because a lot of times I do renders overnight, or I'll do conversions overnight. Like a lot of the streams and stuff I convert and send over to Rumble. And in so doing, I've gotten in the habit of leaving my computer on overnight. And I think, you have cache and all that kind of stuff that builds up and adds up. So, all that to say, if it starts having, craps out at about the 10-minute mark, I'll probably shut the stream down, and it just means I need to find a more viable way to do this. If it doesn't, then it was my bad for leaving the computer on for like 72 hours straight and not giving it a breather. Which is the truth? We will find out soon enough. I'm hoping it's my own stupidity, my own foolishness, because I really don't want to have to figure out another alternative to. But I won't be doing this in the future. So right now, for those who don't know, this is footage from a game, from a playthrough that I did way before, back in May. Back when I was thinking that it would be a good idea to play, focusing on the gameplay, and then do a commentary later. But really all I managed to do was give myself a lot more work, because instead of playing for 3 hours and having 3 hours of final footage to show, or as like with a stream, you have 3 hours at the end of it. I spent 3 hours playing, and then I had to go back and comment. And it really, I've decided ultimately, this is my detailed analysis, or in retrospect, while it may seem like a good idea to dedicate all your mental faculties to playing a game, and then later on dedicate all your mental faculties to commenting on said playthrough. With the caveat of not doing it immediately. So if you play it for 2 hours, then you go back and immediately comment, it might be better off because you know it. You remember exactly what you did, what the hard times were, and everything. So you're not having exactly stream of consciousness, but it's pretty darn close. And I think that might work out okay. But I would say for anything more than a week, it is folly to do so, because hey, Retro State Gaming, what's up, man? Looks like future talk over B-roll. Also, if you ever make different videos. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I got the idea for Retro State, because I was watching a video, and he was talking about like something to do with the gaming industry, or it may not have even been the gaming industry. I can't remember what it was, but it was some general talk, and literally just had him playing Ratchet and Clank as the video. Like, that's all it was just that footage, and then he just talked over it. Now, I never would want to do like a video essay like that. I wouldn't want to actually talk about something just over video games. So in theory, this was commentary over gameplay, like just like you would do like a live stream. Like, this is exactly a live stream, only I'm not playing it live. I could pretend I'm doing it, but I don't want to try to deceive anybody. Yeah, I could see you doing that, like talking about the PS5 Pro over this video. Right, yeah. Although, I don't have a PS5. But, but yeah. What is the PS5 Pro, by the way? Is it a controller, or is it, what is it? What's the PS5? This, by the way, as I said in the first playthrough, is me attempting to do quick scoping in Borderlands 2. Something I would never do, see, and it doesn't work. It doesn't really work. I would never do it in Call of Duty. I hate it as a mechanic, but I thought it was worth a try against the AI, and it didn't pan out. New upgrade, new upgraded PS5 supposedly. Okay. And no one would know if you weren't playing. That, yeah, exactly. Now, the only thing I did think for Retro's sake that I would, like, when it briefly occurred to me, like, okay, I could simulate it as long as, I gesture with my hands, so they're all over the place all the time. I'm not Italian, but I have that tendency. And I was like, all it would take is one moment of me doing this, and people are like, wait, how are you moving and not yet? It's like, oh crap. But also, if somebody's like, oh no, don't go there, go over here first. You know, somebody gives me like a tip to do it, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna ignore you. I must play it this way. I won't tell you why, and I'm not gonna stop. It would be too easy to expose. Even if I wasn't trying to deceive people, I just didn't mention it, and I just brought it up. I was like, hey guys, I'm playing Borderlands 2. You know, anyway. But wait, $900. Okay, the last I heard was what? They jacked the regular price. I think it was the price of the regular PS5 to $700. So now they've upgraded it to some stretch of the imagination, and they're charging $900 for it. What do they call that? The Concord tax? Like, hey, we lost our shirt, our pants, our underwear, everything on this. I can't remember. I get that and Dustborn confused. One of them was in development for like 10 years. Dustborn, I think, was the Norwegian government, at least in part, sponsored or paid for project. Concord was Sony. I don't remember how, but it was a long-term project, and it sucks, and nobody wanted to play it. And so they call it, I heard people refer to that as the Concord tax, where it's like, all right, we got to make our money back somehow. Got ourselves a hero here. But yeah, so Retrospect, I was just saying that the concept of doing this, like, I don't recommend doing this, whether it's a game, you know, like Contra or something. Commenting is, well, I wasn't even thinking of streaming when I did this. I was just thinking of making videos, and I think that's a huge mistake. Like, this isn't too bad because we can talk, and I'm not even paying. Baldrick, hello. Back to basics, indeed. Which is weird to say. Weird to think that Borderlands 2 is like, what, 13 years old now, I think? Almost 13 years old? That is just weird. Like, what is the threshold of retro? For retro's sake, as it is in your name, you may be able to speak on authority as it's like an antique. When do we consider things antique? Because, I mean, the world of retro gaming is just going to expand, right? It used to be Atari, and then it was Nintendo and Atari, then it was Super Nintendo and Atari. And now I think, up to includes N64, PlayStation 2, I'm guessing? And probably even the Wii U? or the Wii, maybe. Like, it can't just be whatever's not the current console. Maybe that is it, though. Maybe that retro gaming is anything that isn't the current gen system. So if it's not Switch, PS5, or Xbox S or X or whatever the heck it is. Okay, if it's not that, I guess it's technically retro. But it feels like retro should be like a classics type thing. Like I said, I don't think for me nothing after the Wii can be considered retro just yet. Because you still have like a lot of Wii U games and stuff that are on the Switch. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's hard to say because when I was a kid, a classic car was 20 years or older. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and it isn't. I think it's actually 20 years now. You can get antique plates on your car if you choose to do so. Obviously, that incurs restrictions on how many miles you can drive. But I think it's either 15 or 20 years is the threshold that you can get one of those black antique plates put on your car. I was hoping I could do that with my old Corolla, but I ended up giving it to my sister after I think 13 years or something. So basically, chill. I've already done episodes 1. So it was a playthrough. It was a playthrough of the story. Unfortunately, I didn't really commit to that, though. I just it was a playthrough that I was just trying to get through. So, it's 25 episodes total. The first, we're on episode 19 now, so I did, the first 18 are on the channel. And it was the main story, plus the 4 Headhunter packs, and... But your lip sync is not awesome, because you awesomed while your mouth was closed.
So what you want? You are the biggest badass of all time.
You're not wrong, Brick. You're not wrong.
I was wondering when someone would call in.
So yeah, and then the DLC are Captain Scarlet and her Pirate Speedy, which we have we completed that I think 2 episodes ago. So we're now back on the main quest. But before we launch our final assault on Jack, I started Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. I forgot that I was supposed to switch back to the main game before I finished it, so it's kind of a sloppy playthrough because obviously the events of Tiny Tina's Assault is decidedly after the end of this game. So it gets a little janky, it's a little weird. This whole thing was poorly conceived, is the takeaway you should all have. This was a poorly conceived idea. But it came about because I was in some downtime between my move from Indiana to Texas was in 3 phases. This was during phase 1 where my house was on the market. I was having to show it to people all the time. I couldn't really do much. I had to just keep it clean and whatever. And I couldn't work at the same time because I was also having to do like patching up holes in the wall, painting, etc. and so on. So I didn't really have anything to do, but the very first thing my realtor made me do, she came in, she's like, everything looks really good. I think we have to do minimum stuff to get this ready to show. But she walked into my nostalgia nook, which is is a master bedroom closet, which wasn't huge, but it was a walk-in. And if you see my old videos, anything before May, really, or during May, and then before, it was where I was shooting all my stuff. So pretty much everything that I have here, which you can't see most of it, or any of it actually, because it's all background. But it was a closet that was jam-packed full of streaming, recording, video stuff, gaming stuff, games, systems, decorations, and everything. I think I did a quick video of it before I left. But anyway, it was packed full of stuff. And she's like, "This needs to come down. People are going to want to see a master bedroom closet." And this is not it. So she was like, the one and only thing you need to do is take this down. So, long story short, I had to take down all my streaming and recording stuff. The only thing I was left with was a laptop, and didn't have enough juice to do streaming and gaming at the same time. So I was like, I'll just play some games to pass the time, give myself some material for later on, and I'll just record the commentary afterward. And again, an invention out of necessity, but not one that's panned out very well. I should have done it like this. I should have done it as a live stream, even though I'm not playing it live. I think it would have done better because you can still have a conversation then. But yeah, I can send you a link to PlayAsia to see what it looks like. Just mod me, and then unmod me after. Okay, hang on a second. All right, let me try that retro. Sorry, I didn't see this earlier. Let's see. Add as a moderator. I just say. I'll call you. I just managing mod. There you go. You have been. I now. I now instill you with the powers of the moderator.
I'm breaking the shield on that beacon.
It's hard to say. I'd say maybe nothing past Wii sounds fair. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. Wow. All right, so really quick, folks, this is what he's referring to. He was not kidding. Play Asia or PlayStation 5 Pro, $900. Now I'm gonna off screen just kind of see what products, features, 2 terabytes of storage, blah blah blah, which doesn't seem like a lot for how big these video games are these days. Like every time Call of Duty gets updated, and I haven't bought one since Cold War, and I won't. But even like Modern Warfare, my original one that I played, it's still getting like 50 gigabyte updates. The thing must be like 3,000 gigabytes at this point. A freaking 60 billion zillion terabytes. It doesn't. I don't know that it's actually going to tell you exactly what. Like it's telling you what it has, but I don't. All right, I'm curious. PS5 versus PS5 Pro. Okay. Better GPU, 67% more compute units than the PS5, having memory that's 20%. Does it make the games not suck? That's the question, PlayStation. I don't see anything in here. Makes the game titles not suck. Makes the game writing good and the dynamics fun. I mean, makes more games like Retro. Was it Retro Boy or Bot Boy? What's that awesome game for it? It's kind of like Mario, but it's with a robot. Yeah, have memory that's 28% faster and thus be able to render games and action 45% faster overall. Like, I don't remember anybody critiquing PS5. Like, the Switch, yes. The Switch has always been critiqued for not having enough juice. I don't know that the main complaint with PS5 is that it doesn't have enough oomph. Like, I haven't heard anybody say, oh, this game would be awesome if I could just, if it just only had... And by the way, can we just say teraflop just sounds bogus? Like, what is it? Yeah, teraflops. That sounds like some made-up nonsense from, like, Back to the Future, to be honest. 1.21 gigawatts! Which, actually, I don't know. Gigawatt might actually be a real... Shout out to the Tesla gigawatt grenade mod, or grenade, which is freaking awesome. Okay, so it looks like it's pronounced...
Rolling.
Gigawatt.
Never thought I'd be back here.
Which is a measure of power.
You didn't sound.
But it is spelled GIG, so I don't know if that could really be pronounced gigawatt.
Even from a bloodthirsty psychopath.
Who called you that?
Jack?
No. You did. 3 years ago.
Oh. Sorry.
Well, who cares? So in theory, that is actually a thing. But teraflop, which is also, to be fair, a real thing, sounds ridiculous. Like, gigabyte sounds cool, terabyte sounds really cool, decabyte would sound okay, but... And I know we're talking about different stuff here, this is not the same thing, but teraflop just sounds...
Honest, I got no idea how to get
silly.
past a door that'll only open for Jack.
Sorry to interrupt.
Astrobot, yeah, there you go, that's what I was thinking
Get
of.
to the City of Opportunity. To breach the final door to my chambers, you'll need to be Jack. That means passing a bioscan and speaking a password in his voice.
You can take it off so no one feels wronged. All right, I mean, I don't mind retro, but actually, I appreciate you doing that because there have been some people that have wanted to post links, and I've been like, I don't censor stuff. I don't, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I trust you. I mean, and you know, this channel is so petite. Everybody I pretty much know on a quote unquote first name basis or tag basis. So I don't have any, and I'm always looking at chat, so it's not like somebody's going to do something that sneaks into the radar. But oh, did you RetroSake? Awesome, yeah. I mean, basically chill. Also seems to be into it. Baldric is at least familiar. Baldric, did you play it? But I know RetroSake was, Basically, Chill was saying favorite class was Zero or favorite character Zero and Craig. Craig? I don't know. And I'm guessing, I'm hoping that all within the sound of my voice, Borderlands fans or casual fans had nothing but absolute raised eyebrow disdain for the abomination they tried to pass off as a feature film recently. I was like, it was mind blowing. It was like if somebody sat down and said, what are the worst possible decisions, casting decisions, and just overall like scripting decisions we could have made. Art direction. I'm not a big like art director guy. Like I don't watch a movie and go, oh, the cinematography, oh, the art direction. Those have their place, and to their credit, if you don't notice them most of the time, it means they're people that are doing them are doing their jobs well. It's very rarely that somebody does their job so well that you notice it for a good reason. Usually the rule is, especially with filmmaking, I would argue probably even with game making, if people don't notice a particular aspect of it, it means that it was well done. Like nothing should be like, whoa, this like everything was okay, but this is amazing. You want everything to be, wow, it just all worked together. Rarely do you have like, okay, everything was great, but the graphics were just amazing, or the cutscenes were just amazing. Most of the time, if you notice it, it's because it sucks. But Borderlands the movie, like everything was noticeable because everything looked absolutely horrific, and it looked like you just had to sit down and go, okay, think of the best thing we could do. Think of the best casting decisions, the best way we could present this, the best way to show this off, and let's do the opposite. It'd be better as a rated R movie, pretty like. It should have been Deadpool levels of R-rated. No. Well, let's make it PG. Was it PG or PG-13? I don't know. Don't care. It could have been general for all I care. For all I know. If you make me a moderator, then only do standard for people not managing. Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't know if that would let you actually change anything, or if that would just allow you to, like, silence people, or if that would actually allow you to post links. But I'll know that for future. Managing moderator has a little too much power. You'd want someone you know well, I think. I don't have a managing mod. All mine are standard for the bots. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, I trust you, RetroSake. I trust you. And that's kind of the nice thing. I mean, I don't think it happens a ton, but when you have like other streamers and content providers like yourself, like in there, it's like there's a modicum of extra accountability, I would say, just because, well, like I know who you are, like you have your own channel. Whereas if you get, just somebody that you're just more or less randomly talking to, you might not really know. And if they start doing crazy stuff, then there's no accountability, right? Where I could go to your channel and be like, hey, you're a horrible moderator, and you'd be all embarrassed and whatnot before you blocked me, or had your moderator block me. Good times. Agreed. If I'm a mod somewhere, they're a mod for me. Okay. And anyone talking out. Let's see. And anyone talking out of pocket. Yeah, I luckily I haven't encountered that yet. Retro, I don't say I look forward to the day, but it's kind of like when I first started getting my first dislikes on some videos. It's like, okay, I've gotten far enough outside of my, like, I have probably 3 maybe of my actual friends, people in real life that I knew before I started streaming or before I started doing YouTube stuff or outside of YouTube, that actually are subscribed. I think maybe 2 of my family members, maybe. So out of the subscribers I have, only 5 of them are actual people that I knew before I started doing this. So it's not like I had a circle of friends, but it's like when it got beyond, well, I guess the good folks at Roll2One, by the way, shout out Roll2One Gaming. They do a lot of tabletop stuff, a lot of awesome stuff. Good fellows over there. And they stream and crank out content on the regular, especially if you like D&D and those sorts of things. A plethora of different games, different DMs, or GMs, I should say. Or what do you call that? Dungeon Masters. There you go. DMs, yes. Dungeon Masters. Yeah. So anyway, I do actually have, I believe most of them are subscribed as well. My former neighbor. But anyway, when I first started getting dislikes, it's like, okay, my reach is getting beyond the people that maybe are the ideal audience for this. So I kind of look forward to the day when you get people that are the miscreants and whatever, but at the same time, obviously you don't want them to rear their ugly heads. But once you do, it means, okay, you've gotten big enough that you're getting all types in, I guess.
Jack is my witness. You'll die.
Let's see. From my experience, more of the bad viewers happen after 15 to 2K subs. Yeah, I would imagine so. I would imagine so. That's when you start getting, like, I think your reach starts kind of snowballing, and you start getting momentum, I guess, and so you're getting a lot more eyes on that aren't, like you said, the bad viewers, or the are the bad viewers. And happily / sadly, I am a long. I mean, if it took me, started in 2011, I think. So that's 14 years. It took me 14 years to get to 900. So, by that math, in another 14 years, I will be big enough to start getting bad viewers. I mod for a channel with 22,000 subs, and it's a job when they stream. Oh, no doubt. Well, you also probably have, like, that's one of those things where you probably have the where it scrolls up so fast that you almost can't even read it. It's like you see 1, 2, and then a whole ream of it, and then 1, 2, and then it kind of stutters. That's madness, man. I can't imagine that. You must be sweating bullets when you're doing that job. That is. But hey, that's awesome that you're trusted with a channel that has that many viewers, man. Good for you. Was it small when you started with it, or did you get on board when it was a pretty big size? Or was it like, oh, hey, he's got 20. Oh, no, it's doing it again. Son of a... No, please. That's not drop frames in the game. That's... for crying the heck out loud. Yeah. Hang on a second. I don't... Okay, well... Maybe we'll get away with it. My other problem in streaming this that I've realized is I don't have a way to play a video live with OBS running. OBS is only taking 1.5% of the CPU, but for some reason VLC can't handle it. Windows Media can't handle it. The only way I'm able to do this is through, as you saw, Premiere, and it's not meant to be running a video for an hour and a half, so it's a janky setup at first. Let's see. Oh, but keywords stuck out. I did it first, but after a while, you just look for words. Okay. Well, I knew someone around 11K. Well, that's still a healthy number that I was with from the start. They were watching the bigger channel, and I started watching. They were around 15K back then, but yeah, I've been with them for a bit. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a significant amount of growth, but okay, they started off pretty big. When you jumped in, so that's kind of a good mix of both worlds. You got some longevity there, but it's not. You weren't. Well, I guess it would make sense to have a moderator at 1,000 subs or whatever, because like you said, it doesn't really much happens.
You also ought to know complaining about opportunity flaws is considered verbal littering.
Have you dabbled in Twitch at all, for your sake? Oh, then what you were saying about the... Oh, you said it was going to be like 50 games, I think you said, is for the PS5. Yeah, suppose you have 50 games that it will enhance. That's...
Attach the pocket watch quickly.
And I wonder if it's something like 'cause when I did... what was I selling? Oh yeah, I got hired briefly to sell laptops at the University of Virginia's bookstore
All done. Now
for
grab the voice modulator.
IBM. It was the IBM ThinkPad,
Great.
and they were up against
Unfortunately,
the various
you'll see Jack's voice until you
MacBook
reach the
offerings.
security door.
But I had to memorize there were 4 different models. I had to memorize the specs on each one of them. You know, get their overall idea of what each one is good for, what you're paying for, what you're getting, bundles, etc. And I did it for like a week. It was an okay job, but it was amazing and kind of annoying that they had one computer that was incredibly cheap. It was, you know, all the other ones were at least 1,000 or more. This one was like 700. and it had a Celeron processor. And they pretty much told me a Celeron is where they take a normal computer chip and they handicap it. They retard it. They limit it so that it can't do what they don't make. Oh, okay. We make Celeron chips, and then we make awesome chips, and we make these different things. We make this base chip, and then we nerf it and sell it for cheaper. So we're going out of our way to make a price point. We're not. It's not costing us any less or more. There's no difference in the in Model A and Model B, other than one has a nerfed chipset, so that we can justify charging more for the one that isn't nerfed. I just thought that was. I'm not saying it was morally wrong. It just seemed kind of backwards and weird. And I'm wondering if that's the same thing with the PS5. Like, I can't imagine after what the financial flops that they've had and the issues they've had, that they would actually go out of their way to develop a higher powered system with a ridiculously higher price tag just for 50 games or even for all their libraries. Like, that's never been a complaint, really. So I'm wondering if they already had it developed like at its top performance, and they just have nerfed previous systems and are just now going, okay, we're going to take the restrictions off, we're going to take the whatever off, and now we're getting what the PS5 was ultimately designed to be able to do.
Provide air support from 1,000 cuts, and I'll climb up to control core.
Then it doesn't make sense to jack up the price tag. Then you charge your $700. I don't know. It's weird. I haven't. I started a page for Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer runs. Oh, nice! But it never worked out for you. Yeah, somebody had mentioned like, hey, you should try Twitch or check out Twitch, and I was like, I don't. We
have a shot at stealing the vault.
Like, it is a streamer's platform, obviously, but I mean, I think I have an account, but I haven't. Firepower to level I don't know. I just I'm in the same boat. So that's not surprising. By the way, though, Retroshake, you'd be interested to know, I actually got an email today from Best Buy. And crap you not.
Painful, guys.
This is
It actually says.
Want to break some? Jack's broadcasting a 24-hour stream of propaganda to every family in the 6 galaxies.
Your package is on the way. Your package is shipped out, and FedEx expects it to be delivered on 11/7/2024. So, that was yesterday. It says arriving tomorrow. So, in theory, I will be able to play. So I changed it. I backed out. I weenied out after. After we talked, I was all set on it, and I was like, you know what though, it's okay because I need to write scripts on Saturdays. So I was like, okay, if it gets here after the weekend, it's actually better because I won't be tempted to play it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to shipment, so I don't have to drive essentially 40 minutes round trip or an hour round trip to bring this game home. And I was like, and if it like in your experience when it took like 6 days to get there, I was like, if that happens. It kind of sucks from a relevance standpoint, but it means I won't be distracted by trying to play it like hardcore over the weekend. And even if it gets here Friday, because Friday I'm pretty much booked up with Tetzel and the Live at 5 stuff. So but if it does get here today, if it does defy all logic and reason, and Best Buy actually gets my game on release day, I'm going to be playing that thing probably most of the night into tomorrow morning and right up until the last stream of the day. It's going to be a debacle of epic proportions. Oh really? Best Buy? Yeah, I know, right? I get that. Anytime I can get it shipped and not worry. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, Retro, if I wasn't, because every time I sit down to write, I end up getting distracted. Like, it's so much easier to stream. It's so much easier to play a video game than it is to sit down and, okay, let me form coherent thoughts. Let me write out, let me lay out an argument or a way of presenting facts. And then, at the same time, be trying to think of different clips or visuals to use. It would be on my first video essay. Like, I don't want to do it. But I need to do it. And I know that I would find every excuse not to, and if I had the game, I would. But so yeah, in other words, Retro, if I don't end up writing this weekend, it's your fault, because you assured me that Best Buy does not ship on time. At best, 2 or 3 days later, possibly even 6 days later. So I took your advice to heart, and I said that's exactly what I need to artificially create an environment where I am not trying to play a video game over the weekend, and then I get the news that it's arriving on time today. and it is possibly costing me a weekend of writing. And it's all your fault. And you're picking up a copy today, right? Physical copy, I guess, like Walmart? Oh yeah, I forgot about that whole thing in Borderlands too. You'd think this is my first time playing the game, but it isn't. Awesome, man, awesome. Yeah, did you see, I saw a brief video. I didn't actually, wasn't looking up reviews, because I don't care. I mean, it's Nintendo. For the most part, I trust Nintendo. I don't trust their movies anymore, but I do trust their games. And so I'm getting it anyway. I was going to get it regardless, and if it turns out to be some horrible whatever, then I'll stop playing it, or whatever. But they're usually, when it comes to Mario games anyway, they're pretty darn good. But, you know, IGN gave it like a 5 out of 10 or something like that. It's like, and that actually was encouraging. I was like, okay, if a rag like IGN is giving it a 5, it probably means it's a really solid game. But it was just funny. Like, if they said it was a good game, I'm like, because they gave the Mario Brothers movie, which is an abomination, they gave that an 8 out of 10. So I'm like, yeah, if IGN gives something a really good credit, a really good score, then I know I'm in trouble. But if they give it a 4 or 5 out of 10, then we're in good shape. And they actually said the plot was like simple, like it was a simple plot. I'm like, have you ever played a Mario game? Even a Zelda game, the plots are not complicated. They never have been. It's not about that, right? It needs a certain amount of DI if it's going to get 7+ from that. Yeah, yes, yep, yeah. I joked. I said, well, yeah, if they had Luigi sidelined and they had Princess Peach in there doing everything Mario could do but better for the entire game, it probably would have got a better score. Which that would fall into that purview. But yeah, it does not check enough boxes to be considered a success. But I mean, that's the crazy thing. They legitimately can't perceive value of anything beyond those scope. Like I was reading a review. I can't remember. It was a movie from back in the day, and they're like, it hasn't aged well. And I'm like, okay, like, is it going to be the cinematography? Is it going to be, you know, the storyline? And it was like, and it was all in the framework of DEI. It's like it didn't have enough of this. It had too much of this. Misogyny. I'm like, look, folks. The amount of legitimate misogyny and misandry in the world is very, very small. There are very few men and women who legitimately hate the opposite sex. Very few that legitimately hate. They may have some bad experiences with the opposite sex and not have a high opinion, but an overall hatred and disdain for the opposite sex, that's very, very rare. The amount of times you use misogyny is not right. You might say sexist, you might say a bias, you might say any number of things, but misogyny is a hatred of women. That's not what this movie did not have that in there. It was, you could say chauvinistic. I mean, that's another word we use. You know, or a prejudice. But that doesn't necessarily mean the movie's bad, unless they glorify it. It's weird. Sad, agreed. And I mean, and the only thing retrospect, we're hoping that it's because gamers in general seem to be more or less rejecting it. Like, I do get nervous because I'll hear people say, look, just give me a good story. In other words, if you feed me crap, at least put it in a chocolate pie or a chocolate cake. If you mix the crap in with a chocolate cake where I really can't see it and I only taste little bits of it here and there, then I'm okay with it. Which I'm like, no. If there's any crap whatsoever in my chocolate cake, I'm not going to eat it. And it's not hard to keep the crap out of the cake. It's not hard to do that. You have to intentionally put crap into the cake. So all you have to do as a developer is just not put crap in your cake. But I'm hoping that enough people have gotten fed up with it that they're not willing to accept any crap in the cake anymore. Because for a long time I kept hearing people say, just make it entertaining. Just make it entertaining. I'm like, no, it needs to be entertaining and not have this stuff in it. Because it doesn't serve. It's not like, oh, it's a spice. You know, we spice it with a little bit of representation. No, representation has no place in gaming. It doesn't. Characters should not be representatives of anybody. They need to be characters. If they're not characters, if they're representatives of a group of people or an ideology or what have you, they suck as characters. Because a character needs to be a person. It needs to be a real person. And we are not representatives of anything. I represent nothing beyond myself. So when people say, well, representation is good. No, it's not. It is absolutely not. It's the death of characters. You cannot, and that's why people don't understand. They're like, I don't care if it has this stuff in it. I just want it to be good. It's like, it can't be. Because when you are looking at a character as a representative of someone, of something, it has to be written in a certain way that is counterintuitive or is counter to fundamental good storytelling. Same thing with your plot. If your plot is going to take sidesteps and lecture and preach and all this kind of, and I'm talking about anything, religion, anything, then your plot is going to suffer. But it's silently fun if it's a turd as long as it's turdastic. Turdastic, right? Oh, dude. Makes me think of, what was that movie? Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know. I never saw the second one, didn't have an interest, but the first one, I love the first one. Turbotastic! Turbotastic! So yeah, Turdastic. But I think indie studios have really shown, like, I mean, I'm finding games, having people recommend games, like, I haven't seen it, but as somebody who does retro, like, I heard The Messenger is kind of like a Ninja Gaiden / Metroidvania type title. Oh, worst time to reload. But like that, Katana Zero, what was it? Moonrider, and then there's like new titles. There's one called I can't remember. Like Ori and the Blind Forest, Cuphead. Like, there are plenty of independent makers out there who are making really good games, and I think that excuse me, I think that's going to be the future of gaming. I think these studios will eventually just go into they're gonna become obsolete. Hey, Robington, hello. Welcome, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Because the gaming studios, like a lot of Hollywood studios, were promised, hey, if we say we're making this for the modern audience, people are going to have such a desire, such a need to be considered to be part of the modern audience. They'll say, okay, you know what? This may not be this challenges my preconceived notions of what truth, reality, and reason used to be, but I want to be part of the modern audience. And I don't want to be left behind. I want to be considered modern, and I want to be the audience for this. So, I guess this is the new real. This is the new truth. This is the new way things are going to be. And yeah, I count myself a proud member of the modern audience. Thank you for helping define that for me. And now I enjoy what you're doing because that's how I am defined as the modern audience. I think they pitched it like that. They're going to say, look, there's going to be some pushback initially. There are going to be people who don't like this, and we have ways of dealing with them. There are certain names you can call them that'll shame them into at least being silent, if not eventually coming around. So you may have a few projects or a few months where our attempt to force behavioral change gets some pushback, and you might take a hit. But that's what we're here for. We're here to comp you for that. Don't worry about it. Here's a loan. We'll float you until we can create the modern audience. And once we've created the modern audience, you can tell them whatever the heck you want. You can give them whatever slop you want. They're going to eat it up because they want to be part of the modern audience. That was the mentality, I believe. They were not expecting pushback this long. They were not expecting pushback to intensify. They overestimated how much the celebrities were worth. They overestimated how much people needed to feel included in being the modern audience. And now they're kind of screwed because they've lost goodwill. Their reputation, a lot of these companies, their reputations are shot or being greatly shot. And it's overall being rejected. And so they can't really, trying to make an about face at this point. They've already lost too much. But there's no end in sight, so they have to kind of still go with the loans and the investments they were getting earlier, but that's not leading to the utopian make anything and the customers will eat it reality. To be fair, I think everyone should love The Messenger, but given your disdain for Ninja Gaiden, I wonder if you might not like it because it's based off... No, so here's the thing, Retrosake. I don't dislike Ninja Gaiden as, because it's ninjas or whatever. I dislike Ninja Gaiden because of the control. I disliked it because you automatically stick to walls. If you get hit by a bad guy, you bounce off of him like a ricochet. It's not even like Castlevania has knockback. What Ninja Gaiden has is bounce back. It literally bounces you out and no invincibility frames. Castlevania, you get a knockback that, yes, it can knock you into the pit, but if it doesn't knock you into the pit, you're invincible for like a second or two. Ninja Gaiden has no invincibility frames. It bounces you back, and it bounces you onto walls. Like, there's plenty of areas that you should be able to traverse no problem, but the game automatically sticks you to the wall. So the mechanics of it, I found to be infuriating. And the extra level of I think it was kind of a jerk move in general. I'm not saying that they were jerks, they were trying to be jerks, but when you realize, hey, whoops, we screwed up, we were resetting people back to 6-3, that's not what we wanted to do. That's not how the game was originally. Nobody asked for that to happen. It just happened because of a mistake we made, and they didn't bother to correct it. Like, that's a pretty big deal. So those are the reasons I don't like Ninja Gaiden. So as long as the messenger controls well, I'm willing to pretty much tolerate, like Katana Zero. Yeah, I did get really pissed off at the final boss. Had I known it was the final boss, would have been a little less pissed off. But even still, I would say it controls great. I just can't. I don't know if I'm going to be able to master the accuracy that I need to. And it took me 30 minutes to beat the boss, which is not really that long considering Nintendo games can take hours and hours to beat the boss. So as long as Messenger controls well, I'm totally down with it. If it's got me automatically sticking to walls and bouncing off of stuff like a freaking pinball, then yeah, it may not be for me. Yeah, and the Messenger plays the same, sort of. But you're right. I believe in you. You will love it. Oh, jeez. I mean, it may be worth a shot. I think it's $15 I saw on Switch. Like, I'm not going to get it anytime soon. I've got Brothership on the docket right now. Kirby's Adventure is the next retro. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff to play, so I'm not necessarily going to jump to buy it, but I'll watch some gameplay of it and just see if it reminds me, if it looks like it handles like Ninja Gaiden, then I probably won't. But I mean, like, have you played Katana Zero Retro? It's great, and I mean, it feels good to play. And Ninja Gaiden, when you're running, you're jumping, you're slashing, all those things, that feels good. It's when you're interacting with, again, the background and dealing with bounce back and no invincibility. That's when it starts getting a little like, eh. Oh yeah. That was a bummer. I actually probably would have bought the physical if it was $50. But yeah, it's like $800, $700, $800. I think I saw a copy for $200 or something, but it's not going to happen. But that's the problem. I love eBay is great in a lot of ways, but man, like I have what I need to do. I want to actually look on eBay and see what the last copy of that sold for. Because if the market dictates that people are willing to pay $800 for a physical copy of a game, when all you're literally getting, it's not even like a special edition. It was literally just the box and the game. If people are willing to pay that, then I guess that's what the market dictates, but I'm guessing nobody has. They're just trying to gouge the heck. It's like, hey, it was available at limited time runs, and now it's not available anymore, so you have to pay our price or you don't get it. Like, well, then I just won't get it. Or, digital copies are still a thing there, a-hole, so. I was gifted... Oh, nice! I was gifted it by Triforce Hunter, and I still need to try it. I haven't been feeling very good and haven't gamed in over a week. Yeah, I noticed. I think the last time you streamed, that it seemed to, like, I'd say it was a short stream but I mean, a lot of my streams are only an hour or 2 hours long. But yeah, the last one was that Halloween one you did. I can't remember the actual game, but I looked on it, but I was like, I didn't recognize the title. But yeah, I know she hadn't really been streaming since then. Is it like the flu kind of thing, or is this a longer burn? Or is it just because, it's... Or like COVID. COVID can take you out for a good week and some change. And depending on, how you choose to approach it, it can be longer. Everybody in my family, for the most part, it was about a 3 or 4 day runtime, but we ingested copious amounts of horse dewormer. And, that's... Oddly enough, it somehow, magically, against all odds, kind of worked out okay. But anyway, I don't know if it's my heart, but my chest is... Oh, man. I don't feel right, so I can't play and feel better for people. No, I understand that. I totally understand that. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Have you... like, is it a recurring thing? Has that happened before? Is this a new... Like, have you had times where... Oh, man, that's horrible. I am so sorry to hear that, man. Yeah. Like you say, when you can't... Yeah, that's... Jeez. Have you got any kind of... Has it been looked at all? Like, it's been kind of narrowed down to what it might be? Oh my gosh. Sandhawk and the bee shield is so freaking awesome. I love the bee. Me and the bee are buddies. I was playing Friday the 13th. Yes, that's right. And it just came on. I couldn't even finish. Okay, so that's why it was short. Okay. But because we don't have insurance. Oh, gotcha. Oh, man. Oh. And I'm kind of in the same boat right now. I have a freelance, part-time freelance job, but it doesn't pay insurance. So yeah, if I were to have something like that, oh man. And it's not getting any better though. So that was back October 31st. So it's been about 8 days you've had this? I'm trying to think. I wonder if like a dock in the box would. I cut out all caffeine and bad stuff. No tea, no coffee. Man. I mean, I don't know if it'd be worth it. I don't know if you've done it before. They have the I can't recall what it's called, what the actual name of it, but essentially where you can, it costs like I think it's like $50 where you can talk to a doctor, like you get on the phone with a doctor. You can even make it a video call even. And obviously you can have a range. I've had good doctors that were very quick to identify the problem. Like I called up knowing, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've got bronchitis. Like it's been 2 weeks. I've been coughing. It's been getting worse and blah, blah, or it was something. It wasn't bronchitis. It was something else. Anyway. And some of them are like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's get you some antibiotics and you're good to go. And then some are like, well, we don't want to prescribe you antibiotics too soon. You know what? Maybe just let it go for another 6 weeks. And if you're still alive, you know, we can revisit this. Okay, champ? Sound good? Well, that was a waste of $50. So it's not a guaranteed thing, but there are some where if you get a really good one, and you tell them what's going on, they might be able to die. And like I said, it's you don't have to leave the house. It's under $100. It's somewhere between 50 and 70, if I recall. And that's without insurance. Like that's just out of pocket. For the most part, the pain is less. My wife thinks it's an infection. I have a tooth that needs removed, and she thinks the infection. Yeah. I have heard that. I don't know about if I've heard the heart part, but I know, I will put it this way. I know or have heard very bizarre connections between like issues in your with your teeth and like other places in your head. And yeah, even other, it's a very strange thing to think that could be connected, but yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, hopefully not the heart. I mean, it's in your chest, so that would logically make sense. But that would explain why it's not going away. But I mean, like a viral infection, it hits you and then it goes away on its own after like 2 or 3 weeks. So I mean, if it's going to go away on its own, I guess if you're willing to grin and bear it, type of thing, that's one way to go with it. And I mean, depending if it is viral, but it sounds like if it's an infection from your tooth, then that's something that would need, man. So I tend to believe her because I'm mature and have a bad tooth. Ah, man. I don't suppose you've got a sturdy pair of pliers and a high tolerance of pain. Sounds like that needs to be pulled out there, so it's my own fault. Well, I mean, you know, in a manner of speaking, I guess, maybe if it's a problem that needs addressed. But again, if you don't have insurance, dental work is prohibitively expensive. I mean, even with insurance, I remember I don't think I've ever gotten dental insurance with my work because it's like the threshold is like $5,000. So it's like if I need more than $5,000 worth of dental work done in a year, it probably means I've face planted, on a motorcycle or something without a helmet on or whatever. And I'm in a lot more trouble than just that. Like, it's insurance for dental stuff. Other than, free cleaning every half a year. It's like, okay, whoop-de-doo. I mean, it's something. And it's not typically that expensive. But yeah, until you spend $3,000 on dental work, it really doesn't help you a whole lot. Oh, no, the tooth broke apart. Oh, my gosh. And I quit drinking 5 years ago. Oh, geez. I mean, that's... Oh, my... How long has that tooth been like that? Well, no, actually, I mean, Roach's sake, like, that's actually... The quit drinking thing is actually really good. So, in a lot of ways, you're doing better. You're just maybe not quite as prepared to deal with, trying to yank out your own tooth, which... Honestly, I couldn't do it either. Especially after having my wisdom teeth pulled. Cool. Let's just say the Novocaine that I very much felt going into the top, the roof of my mouth and my gums, wore off like halfway through. They got like 2 teeth removed, and suddenly it was like, let us know if you feel something. And they started yanking on it. I hear the bones crunching, and suddenly, sharp stabbing pain. Ah, says I. Can you feel that? Uh-huh. Okay. Well, let's shoot you up with some more Novocaine, which I also felt. Oh, yeah, that was not a good time. So yeah, I do not, for anybody who does not realize I was completely joking, I do not recommend doing your own dental work.
You know how I got my hands on
Aside from the excruciating pain, the chances of you being able to actually successfully extricate the tooth and all of its necessary places and keep it from getting infected, because that's the last thing you want, is to pull it out and get it even more infected. I haven't told anybody else about the tooth, but it's also because I was in denial. Ah, I gotcha. I understand that. Especially, I mean, I think that's a natural thing, especially if you don't have an answer. I don't know if it's more of a guy thing, but I do think anytime you're going, okay, well, if I acknowledge that this is the problem, I don't have a solution for it, which not only feels powerless, but it's also kind of scary, because it's like, okay, well, am I going to have to finance $7,000 just to get this darn tooth removed? So, like, the natural thing to do is say, okay, no, that can't be it. That's not the problem. Like, you want it to be a problem that you can solve. You want it to be something that you can do something about. Like, you're like, hey, I stopped drinking caffeine. I stopped, sodas and stuff like that. It's like, if I can do something about it myself, that's fine. But if it's beyond the scope, then ugh. I'm 100% that way. I feel like I can get by somehow. Yeah. Funny enough, I have a tooth like that, as well as it has a huge hole, but I can't get it done right now. Man, I mean, it makes sense. Robinson, same. Okay, you're not alone. You're not alone, Retrosake. That's I think all of us are kind of that way. And yeah, and I think that's been a lot of the issue that we had, a few years back. You try to tell a bunch of people that there's something very detrimental out there that they can't really do anything about. They don't like that very much. They want to be told that there's something they can do about it, and otherwise they don't want to acknowledge that it exists. So it's we've seen it be common in general, but I think I 100% relate to that. But I caused the hole thinking I could pull it. Oh, so you actually did try to pull it. Oh, and that's what you said, and then it broke. Oh, no. I see. Yeah, okay. I can't say that I've done that to a tooth, but I've done that many projects, many things where I've been like, oh, yeah, it shouldn't be that hard, right? Like, in my mind, it should not be that hard. Logically, it shouldn't be that hard. You grip it, you rip it, it's over and done, and then you just pack the cotton in or something. It's like, in theory, it's a very simple process, but then you're like, okay, well, if the tooth was giving me problems to begin with, that probably means it's not structurally sound, which means if I grip it and rip it, it's going to, like, okay, for example, I had a Deep Six G.I. Joe, like the one with the bright orange helmet, and I thought to myself, because I was out in Florida, didn't really have anything else to do, had a pump action BB gun, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do battle damage Deep Six. I'm going to set him up and like kind of do target practice, and if I hit him, hopefully it'll just put a hole right through his chest, and I'll have battle damage Deep Six. Not even thinking that, of course, as a diver, he's going to take on water and drown, but in the world of play, it was fine. Absolutely no problem with the theory, right? A BB is about this big. It's round. It makes a round hole as it passes through a piece of plastic. of course, you probably know where this is going. I did eventually shoot Deep Six, and it blew his body apart. It didn't make a hole. It just shattered the whole doggone thing. And so I killed Deep Six. I didn't wound him. I killed him. But in my brain, logically, I was just putting a hole through it. But, you know, it's a pump-action BB gun. It doesn't have the force to do that. Let's see. My family is originally from West Virginia, so I've watched it done plenty. Oh, no kidding! You know, Retrodeck, side tangent. I lived in Virginia. I was born and raised in Virginia, Northern Virginia. And when I got out to Colorado, it was amazing the amount of people who did not know the distinction between Western Virginia and West Virginia. Like, I would say, oh, yeah, that's out in, like, Roanoke is Western Virginia. And they're like, oh, man, that's where all the, you know, the hillbillies and stuff are. I'm like, no, you're thinking of West Virginia. It's its own gosh darn state. Now, I'm not downing on West Virginia, although, you know, I would say that would feed into stereotypes of West Virginians doing their own dental work. But only with teeth already loose, never just ripping a fresh tooth out. Ouch. Yeah, that. Oh, jeez. I mean, I'll say it's either a testament to your courage or desperation that you were willing to do that. Because I don't think I could. But also, like you're saying, you know, you don't factor in all the variables and go, oh, maybe. You know, maybe it's different with a loose tooth or a tooth that is, you know, that is trying to come out versus one that I'm forcing to come out. But again, then you think about, well, what's the alternative? If I can't do it myself, what other option is there? Nothing. Better for me to give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? I don't pull it out. You just don't realize all the different variables, all the different things that can go wrong. You don't realize until it actually happens and go, oh, did not see that happening. I mean, to be fair, how sad that we couldn't come up with a better name than New North Southwest East gets no rep, right? Yeah, New Virginia. You know, while certainly not. I mean, New York, New Hampshire. Why not New Virginia? Although I guess because I don't know that they actually. Yeah, they probably have a Virginia in the UK. But yeah, it's just so lazy. Okay, we want to make this a new state. Where is it? That's in the western part of Virginia. I'll just call it West Virginia then. Won't that be confusing? Nah, it'll be fine. Is there going to be... And to be fair, you do have North and South Dakota, North and South Carolina. So they have the vertical laziness. We have the horizontal laziness. Like, yeah, I mean, really, come up with a brand new state. Like, that would be so much better. Just come up with a new name for that area, not just West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. New Mexico, right? Yep, there's precedents here. There's precedents. Yeah, that should at the best it should have been at the worst it should have been New Virginia. But ideally, you just call it a new state. Every other state has a new Brunswick or yeah, how cool Brunswick? That'd be a cool state name, Brunswick. You guys should be Brunswick. And North and South Carolina, you should have one be called Carolina. You know, Ventura Avenue, or no, Marvin Gardens. We should name them after, well, sounds stupid. We should name it after Monopoly properties, but Monopoly properties are actually named after real streets, so that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many cool words out there that we could use instead of doing North and South. Again, yeah, North Carolina should be just Carolina. South Carolina should be, I don't know, North Georgia? Be enhanced lead bunker. Go, Santos, go. Out of ammo. You'll find Cleveland in Ohio and Tennessee. Why? Same with Nashville. Oh yeah, and every state has the same county and city names. Yep. Oh, hey, yeah, there's a Miami. I didn't realize it was a Miami, Ohio. So I used to be a Miami Hurricanes fan. I don't know why, because I never watched a single game. I just thought it was a cool. They had a cool logo. I put the logo on all my traffic keepers and stuff. But yeah, it was like I don't think there could be any more of a disparity between locations than Miami, Ohio, and Miami, Florida. Like, could you imagine? It's just be like, oh man, we're going on vacation to Miami. Woo! Welcome to Miami. Bienvenido a Miami. Bouncing in the city where the heat is on all night on the beach to the break of dawn. I'm going to Ohio. What am I doing in Ohio? Why are we in Ohio? It's Miami, Ohio. That's a technicality. Ohio, you're full of crap. Although, probably in fairness, there was probably a Miami, Ohio before there was a Miami, Florida. I would guess, because I think Miami's been around longer, or Ohio's been around longer than Florida in terms of the union or whatever. But still, yeah. But yeah, I think almost every state has a Nashville, has a, maybe even has a Miami. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like they want more. Yeah, exactly. We're running out of names. That's a Disney episode. I think Good Luck Charlie. What really? Where they end up? They think they're going to Miami, Florida. They go to Miami, Ohio. I just one thing to be like, oh, there's a Nashville, Kentucky, and a Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, different state, obviously, but they're kind of the same state. They could be lumped in together. I feel like if you drive through them, you can't tell the difference. So there's a difference between, being right, within 500 miles and in the exact same climate and temperature and everything else, and going from the sandy white beaches. Although the only time I've ever been to Miami was during, I went with a church relief group after Hurricane Andrew hit, and it was a mess. So the only images I have in my brain of actual Miami was like half, houses that we actually had to. We were working on one house, and we had a bucket, those like big old industrial buckets. And there was a toilet there, but there was no running water. It was just kind of sitting there. So you had to like pull a sheet across there was no door. It was just, I don't know. You had to cover yourself, and then do your stuff, and then use the bucket of water to flush down. And the pools were, it was bad. But anyway, I know in general Miami's a very nice place. She thinks her high school is going to Miami for a cheerleading thing. Could be wrong. Ends up in some cold place instead. Okay, so even if it's not the exact same thing, it's in spirit the same idea of places having the same name but being in a very different, being completely different than what you would expect. And to your point, yeah, I think there's almost every state. Like I think there obviously we have states where the cities are known because they're in that state or because like in that particular state. But like I said, there's probably a Nashville in a lot of different states, but it's just nobody thinks of it because I know there's a Richmond. I mean, Richmond is the capital of Virginia. It's the state capital for Virginia. But there's a Richmond. There's a Richmond, Indiana, and there's a Richmond, Texas. Like one thing, I got a notification because my mom actually went on a trip, and it said, currently in Richmond. I'm like, what the heck is she doing in Virginia or Indiana? And it was like, no, Richmond, Texas. Like, well, okay, what is she doing in Richmond, Texas? I didn't know there was Richmond, Texas. It's funny the human condition to feel shame from bodily functions, something an animal would shrug at. No one wants to poop for a crowd. Lost art, I guess. Well, yeah, because wasn't it in Rome? Like, weren't there bathrooms? It was just like a big square with a bunch of holes in it. Like it was like a giant square bench with holes in it, and you just sit there and just do whatever. Yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm the kind of guy that even in a public restroom, if somebody walks in, it's weird. I'm sitting there. I gotta wait for them to like make noise or something. Like I don't like. Now unless I'm in a bad way. If I'm gassy or I've eaten something that's just moving through me, I couldn't care less. I'm gonna do whatever and be damned. But if it's just kind of a casual thing, there's a level of being self-conscious. Even if it's one of those awesome stalls that like the door goes all the way to the floor and everything. I don't know what it is. Could be because in elementary school a lot of our stalls didn't have doors, or the doors didn't close all the way, and there were definitely kids that would do shenanigans. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess, based off the Roman thing, I guess in theory I would, if we were raised where that was a common thing, then I wouldn't have, I also wouldn't have an issue with it. But I don't feel that I was conditioned to feel that way. It's just one of those things. Just I don't know. It's defecation. It's not shame. I'm not ashamed of it. I just don't find it particularly pleasant. And I don't think I'm alone. If it's coming from you, it's fine. But somebody else, like, you know, if I'm driving on the road and I break wind, like, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm not like, oh gosh, it doesn't make me nauseated. I'm in the car with somebody else and they let something go. Oh my gosh! I'm like, crank down the windows, stop the car. I tuck and roll, man. It's intolerable. It makes my eyes water. But it's not any worse. It's not like their bowels are creating anything more foul than mine. But the fact that it's not mine for some reason just makes me go. Michael Myers effect? Got to make sure they aren't there to murder you. Well, exactly. Well, to be fair, I've never seen any of those movies, so I can't exactly claim that. Did that happen in one of the movies? Michael Myers killed somebody in a public bathroom. This has been the most interesting conversation. It has been. It has been. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, then I guess I'm not missing, because I know there was like a shower scene in Psycho. Like, that's kind of a famous thing, so I'm familiar with that one. I did not know there was few people speak of the public bathroom murder scene, so I had no idea that was a thing. Michael Myers loves to get you in the bath. I mean, hey, to be fair, well, yeah, exactly. He'd get you anywhere. But I will say, no, I think no matter what, regardless of any social stuff, I feel like we do feel the most vulnerable in the bathroom. Like, and I know there may be some people who don't like this, but, you know, if there's a spider, I used to let spiders live and let live until I realized that they will just pop out babies like it's their job. And then you have these little spiders all over the place, which, oh, they're so cute. And then the next thing you know, you got a spider there. And while they may be catching bugs, yes, it's still kind of nasty to have spiders in every crevice and running wild through your house. So I now, if I can, you know, if I have something handy where I can stick them in a jar and chuck them out the window, I'll do that. But otherwise, I kill the darn things. In a normal, anywhere else in the house, I feel great about it. If I'm in the shower and one of those little bastards is up in the corner or something, it's like, it's a whole level of terror. It's like I'm at my most vulnerable. It's seeing me naked. It's very weird. It's very weird. Like I don't feel anxious around bugs, spiders, anything in normal, but in the bathroom, or if I'm sitting down thinking my great thoughts and there's a spider right there, it's like, what's it gonna do? It's got me dead to rights. I'm sitting down in a very vulnerable position. I can't really get up, and if it wants to kill me right now, it totally could. I'm completely exposed. But he's got a thing for stalls. I have a gun in my bathroom. You ain't getting me. Naked spider bite Pepe. If I should Pepe, and then what? And I will say though, that does kind of, I mean, I think it's a good call, you know, gun in the bathroom, but you really can't take out a spider with one of those things. I mean, you do. It's literally overkill, but it's probably reconstructive damage in the house. Your guns are useless against spiders. They're unless well, put it this way: if the spider's big enough that a gun can take it out effectively, you need to get the heck out of there. I don't care if it's Africa, Australia, wherever you are. If the spider is that damn big that you can that you have to take it out with a firearm, migrate quickly.
The key from charging, and it will end.
It's not for spiders. No, it's for Michael Myers. I love that retro. You're like, oh come on, I don't have a gun in the bathroom for spiders. It's for Michael Myers. It's for serial killers that come back from the dead. Okay, jeez, man, get your head out of your butt. Ridiculous using a gun for spiders. It's for serial killers that would try to get me in the crapper. Duh. Right, something real. No, but I mean that I mean obviously, like, real talk, like it is, I think, a legitimate concern. If you are concerned, you know, in one way or another for your safety, like if you have a gun handy because you think that there is a possibility of some kind of invasion, or, you know, invader, or, you know, somebody breaking into the house, the last thing you would want is to be in the bathroom, have your firearm be like in the drawer, the nightstand drawer or something, and be in there and just know, okay, well, if they know I'm in here, I'm totally screwed. Like, there's nothing I can do. Whereas if you got it stashed in a plastic bag taped to the top inside of your tank, then you Jason Bourne. If you ever broke into my place, you better have come in from the roof, because whatever room you're in with, I have a weapon. I just like being prepared. Good for you, man. Good for you. Hey, well, what is it they make the comparison? It's like, do you have a fire extinguisher because you expect for there to be a blaze in your kitchen or your garage? No, you have it there because if it does happen, you don't want to be, you know, it's the same thing. Those things do happen. Statistically unlikely, but almost every great tragedy is statistically unlikely. The likelihood of your house getting torn apart by a tornado, statistically unlikely. Higher statistics in certain parts of the country, but in general, very low. The statistics of you getting broken into your house in most places in the country, probably pretty low. Still happens though. You don't want to be the unlucky one and be unprepared. Now, granted, I don't have quite that level of protection. I did get a compound bow. There was a gal out here that we went shooting, and I learned how to shoot a compound bow, which was pretty dope. But the one big thing that I had going for me, not now because I don't have the room for them, but I have Lord of the Ring replica swords, and even though they're replicas, they're not. You can't sword fight with them because they're not full tang. So you hit something hard enough with it, it will just break. But they are but all of them have a very, 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 very pointy, sharp tip, and some of them even have a decent edge on the blade. So again, you're not going to sword fight with them, but they're wall mounted. At least in my old place, they're like all around the bedroom, like even over the bed. Because I mean, they're bolted to the wall. It's nothing's going to happen. But I mean, they're decorations. But if somebody breaks in, I've got Sting and freaking what was the one that oh gosh, it was my favorite one. I love the design of it. I did not like the Hobbit movies, but Orcrist. I love the design for Orcrist. That was the first one I bought. So I grabbed Sting and Orcrist off the wall, and I will skewer the sumbitch that tries to break into my place. I had a plethora of weaponry. Now, granted, they could have grabbed it off the wall as well, but I fight for the side of good and justice. I have too many kinds too. There's always a random encounter option. No one knows your place like you do. Exactly. Yeah. Everything is kind of strange, and they're probably not looking for stuff on the wall. You know, they're not. They're there for whatever they're there for. But kind of like you said, if you're in my house, you're not supposed to be there. Period. Like that's full stop. It's not your house. It's not your place. And there's a reason why there's elevated or escalated penalties for like a crime committed with a weapon versus not, a crime committed in somebody's house versus not. Because there are places and circumstances that escalate the violation, and breaking into somebody's house, you better be ready for some shenanigans. Shenanigans, yep, exactly, shenanigans. That word has come to be a not a catch-all, but a way of it's a euphemism. A lot of times when I find myself saying shenanigans now, it's because I don't want to actually expressly say. It sounds a lot more friendly or harmless than what you're actually talking about, but it's like they're up to some serious shenanigans. I'm not going to tell you because it probably wouldn't even be appropriate for polite conversation. I did not realize that I had actually beat this before I did Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. I thought... Oh, no, wait. Never mind. Yeah, no, this is only phase 1. I totally forgot about that. You beat him, and then you get... Then he grabs Lilith, and then you have that whole section. So yeah, I think after this we go to Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. We play through that. I forget to jump back to the main story before I beat that. So we beat it. Spoilers. And then... Oh, no, wait. Not spoilers. We already know what happens to her. Whatever. I don't know. It's the game. It's the game. I think it's crazy this game looks better than some of the sloppy. Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like when you know, talk about like old school gaming. This again, 2012 I think is when this came out. And now, granted, to be fair, a lot of it's the art style, like the cell shading with like kind of like comic book lines or whatever. I think that has a longer durability than if they try to make it hyper realistic. Like if you look at what is it? Oh crap! What's that game? Rainbow Six Siege. I have some friends that play that game very much. They love it. I have not been able to get used to it, but it doesn't look bad. But it definitely, you can tell the graphics are a little bit older because it was as realistic as they could make it at the time. This is like a cartoon. This is almost at the equivalent for me of pixel art, where yeah, the pixel it's not as refined as like the hyper realistic stuff, but it never looks particularly old because it's I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of the same thing here. It's like they made it cartoony, or more cartoony, and instead of going for realism. And so, what passed for real in 2012 would not look good today, but this is just kind of yeah, it's a more surreal looking or stylized, and it ages very well. I have a very hard time believing it's over a decade old. I mean, to me, it looks maybe like it might be 3 or 4 years old. But the fact that it can play on I didn't play this on the Switch, but the fact that it can be played on the Switch, to my understanding, without huge performance issues, just is a testament to how old it is and how comparatively simplistic it is. Because Switch doesn't handle very much. I love the Switch, but if it ain't Mario, it ain't handling it very well. Yeah, which made this game so cool when it came out. Yep. I only never tried it. Rainbow Six, that is. Yeah, well, man, Retro, you got a lot of... You got... now, let me ask you, because you mentioned it, I totally forgot to ask. Were you gifted the Messenger physical copy, or did he give you the like, buy you the digital copy? I'm curious. But that's another one you own and have not played. How dare you, sir? I'm in the same boat, though. A lot of games that I bought just because you know, just like with the Messenger, you never know when some game is going to just stop being made and it's going to suddenly become very expensive on a secondary market. It's never happened to me yet. There's never a game that I've bought where I was like, oh, you know what? If this ever goes out of print, people are going to be, you know, it's going to be high demand. Every game I bought, it's you know, it's the one that nobody wants, or it's the one that there were enough made that it's not rare enough to be expensive, which is fine because I don't plan on selling anything. That's not why I bought it. I need to try it on Switch. I haven't and haven't played it either. Too many kids, man. Oh, sorry. Gifted Katana Zero digital. Oh, okay. Gotcha. The Messenger I bought physically, but I did it when it came out. Nice. That's a good call because I mean, you know, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about a lot of these retro games in general, and then places that made physical copies like I Am 8-Bit. That was the first one I heard about. And again, of course, I got there after everything but Mega Man X had been sold out that I wanted. So I did buy the special edition Mega Man X. Still don't know if it was worth it or not to have the white cart and, you know, updated stuff, but it's nice to have it. But yeah, like all the cool, like Earthworm Jim 1 and 2, The Lion King, which I don't know if I would have bought that one. Aladdin, might have bought that one. Street Fighter 2. They came out with the collector versions of those, and I missed it. I got there, and they were all sold out, and they're not making them anymore. And then I found out about Limited Run. And then there's another company out of France, I think it is, that I bought physical copies of Moon Rider and... I never remember where I stood. Oh yeah, Gravity Circuit, which from what I could tell, it got. I mean, there are certain YouTubers that I trust with this kind of thing. So the same person that recommended Moon Rider also recommended Gravity Circuit, which is supposed to be kind of like an homage to Mega Man. But there's a place in France that was selling, or out of France that was selling the physical copies of those and collector's editions. I didn't go in for those, but yeah, Katana Zero, to my understanding, still does not have a physical release anyway. Someone on Discord told me about it, or I wouldn't have known myself. I love Ninja Gaiden, even though I still haven't beat it. I beat Messenger, and it was great. Oh, you did beat Messenger? Okay. Awesome. So but you played both, and so you think the way it plays is similar enough to Ninja Gaiden that I wouldn't necessarily like it. I have played about 1 hour of Gravity Circuit. It's fun. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know. It keeps getting pushed back. I kind of want to do I want to do things in order, so I kind of want to play Mega Man 1 through 7, I guess. Well, actually, no. There's. I guess it'd be there's 1 through 11 now, right? They're on different systems, but I think it goes up to 11. Play those and then excuse me, play something like Gravity Circuit, which is oh hey. So we've been playing through the Mega Man series. This was a game that was made kind of in that vein, kind of as an honor thing. Oh. Goodness gracious. Nobody ever talks to me during the day, but then as soon as I start streaming, I have all kinds of stuff.
Angel, you can stop this. I'll still forgive you, baby.
11, I believe. Yeah.
I have to tell you something. You're an asshole.
Angel! No, Angel!
What kind of
This game just got real.
to their own daughter?
The kind of guy who deserves to die. She's dead. Jack just lost his only way to awaken the warrior. We got the vault key, but this isn't over yet. We gotta find Jack and take him out. Lilith, take the vault key to Tannis. I'm going after Jack.
You bastard! I'm gonna...
Language. What's that saying? Don't pick a fight with a man with nothing left to lose. See, I'm gonna show you just how much you have to lose. And I got the most powerful siren on the planet to do it with. Lilith, kill the Vault Hunter. We've got a date to keep with the warrior. Do it, Lilith.
You know, when I saw that scene for the very first time, I thought, you know who'd be great to play Roland? I saw Roland, I saw how stoic and everything was. I was like, if they ever made a Borderlands movie, first person, crap you not, that came to my head, I was like, it's got to be Kevin Hart. That is the part for Kevin Hart. He epitomizes the tall, muscular, stoic, military, focused and driven guy. And when I saw Lilith, I was like, boy, she's young and she's fiery. It's got to be Cate Blanchett. I mean, she's barely pushing 70 at this point or something like that. She would nail this young, fiery, vibrant, kind of offbeat character. I'm just so glad that they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. Oh man, what's going on here? There we go. So I did have the other video ready to go, but as you can see, that would take us. It is about. It'd take us another. I think it's an hour long by itself. Let me see. I got the Tesla stream at 11:30. Oops. Yeah, it's an hour and 15 minutes. Had we not had the earlier issues, could have gotten through it, but apparently it was my own fault because you saw, with the exception of one moment where it lagged up a little bit, it does play it through very well, just not if you've let your computer running for 3 days straight. So that was on me. I apologize. I will be streaming probably the next two. So episodes 20 and 21. I'll be streaming the rest of the series just because it's much awesome. It's better to have this thing going and having a real conversation than me trying to find things to talk about and try to comment on gameplay that I don't remember from 6 months ago. So, same thing. Retrospect. Yeah. I mean, like people are like, the people are often they'll say stuff like, it's, who asked for this? And I'm like, I don't think necessarily somebody has to ask for something like, or there has to be a clamor for it. I do think it was peculiar to release it so long after Borderlands peak, which was Borderlands 2, really. But it could have still been a great movie if they shot it like Mad Max meets Deadpool, and with halfway respectable casting. I think it actually could have been a fun romp. Wouldn't have been mind blowing, but they could have kind of filled in the gaps in the Borderlands 2 story, since that was the most popular game. Like, hey, here's some scenes that were happening between the stuff that you were doing, and and then replaying certain parts of it. And I don't know, like I feel like if they just said, look, we're not trying to advance the story here, but we are looking to make another Borderlands game, so we want to catch people up, and so this is kind of encapsulating what happened in like one of the better games of the franchise. Or maybe 1 and 2. Maybe they go 1 into 2 and it ends with, Tiny Tina's Assault. I don't know. They could have done it, and it might not have been gangbusters, but it would have been a cool, fun thing for us fans of the game, and for people just looking for a, something along the lines of a Mad Max. But you go PG-13, and Kevin Hart is your military. I mean, I don't need to beat that up. Yeah, it's almost like they forgot they were making it. Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, I think Matt McMuscles did he's a fun dude. He did a What Happened, that he has a series called What Happened, and it's a series about like what happened typically in the making of a video game, like video games that flop or that really suck or that seem like half baked. He'll get into what happened on the production end, because he actually did QA, I think, for the gaming industry for a while. But he does some on movies and shows, and one of them was on Borderlands, and I think it was in development for years. It wasn't like they cranked, usually the production time, I think production is usually like a year, and you got pre-production can be a year and a half to 2 years, maybe anywhere from a year to 2 years. So usually you're talking about 3 years, then you got post-production. Actually probably like 8 months shooting for most films, unless you're doing like a bunch of locations. So it's like a 3-year production cycle. I think this was like 7 or 8. They just kept doing rewrites and reshooting, and it was a mess. It was a mess. But yeah, it was a debacle. It was an absolute debacle. But we still have the games, which I would say, because of a gaming franchise, it's more important. It's more important that the games are good. But that said, Borderlands 3 I wouldn't touch with a 20-foot pole. So we have 2 games in this franchise. Well, 3. I mean, Borderlands, the pre-sequel wasn't bad. It was just kind of short and not incredibly memorable. I might play that again at some point. We'll see. But far too many titles, at retrospect, as in the case with you, too many titles that I haven't played yet to go back and revisit ones that I have. But retrospect, man, I'm really sorry to hear about the infection. And if it's not viral, if it actually is that kind of thing, yeah, that needs to be, it's got, I'm trying to think. I don't know anybody who's a dentist. I was like, man, if there's anybody back in Virginia or something that I knew that could do that kind of work, not pro bono, but maybe give you a fair discount on it. But I don't know any dental folks out there. But yeah, a solution of some kind for you, because it doesn't. If it is an infection, it may not get better without that treatment. But geez, what do you? But however it is, I hope you're able to be healthy enough to be back in the saddle. Not force yourself to do it, but be healthy enough to get back in the saddle and keep doing what you love. But in the meantime, someone soon, I appreciate you. I definitely don't want to keep it going on, because my wife said it's pretty serious on the heart. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. And that's just, I'm sure historically there have been people who have lost their lives to something like that. I mean, infection was a huge killer back in the day. So I just wouldn't want to lose you over something like that. It's like, all right, well, Might have to make a payment plan for it, but there's got to be offices out there like, because I remember, because there were times where I had to go to a doctor's without insurance, and there's some out there that will be like, look, if you don't have insurance, we understand. Here's the rate that we charge insurance companies because we know we can get that amount from them. We charge you, 70% of that or 80% of that, or ideally 60% of that if you're paying out of pocket, and they have plans and stuff. So, just want you back and healthy without the stuff. And every day without that, that's just another miserable day for you. So, but thanks for hanging here with me, man. I appreciate that. It was good talking with you. Even though, again, I know you're probably in a great deal of pain, but yeah, I'll be thinking, and if there's something, some option or something I hear about or find that seems to be a non-gouging tooth removal plan that doesn't involve acid or anything like that, I will let you know. But in any case, I'm gonna jump off, get a few things done before the next stream. But it's been great talking with you. Brovington, great to see you. And for all those lurking on Basically Chill, also, hopefully you're getting your studies done, and it has not been an interruption or a distraction for you. You focus on those studies, get that schooling out of the way so you can get on with your life. That's the deal. And anybody else who happens to be lurking, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you.